It's a long question, but I'll just summarize it. Suppose we favor a stateless society in the long run. It would be a mistake to work for the elimination. I've said that it would be a mistake to work for the elimination of the state in the short run, and we should be trying to strengthen the state because it's needed on the check of power of large corporations. Yet the tendency of a lot of anarchist research, my own too, and others, is to show that the power of large corporations derives from state privilege, and governments tend to get captured by concentrated private interests. That would seem to imply that the likely beneficiary of a more powerful state is going to be the same corporate elite we're trying to oppose. So if business both derives from the state and is so good at capturing the state, why isn't abolishing the state a better strategy for defeating business power than enhancing the state's power would be? Well, there's a very simple answer to that. It's not a strategy. And since it's not a strategy at all, it can't be a better strategy. The strategy of eliminating the state is back in the level of let's have peace and justice. How do you proceed to eliminate the state? Okay. Can you think of a way of doing it? I mean, if there were a way of doing it in the existing world, everything would collapse and be destroyed. You just can't do it. There's nothing to replace it. If there was a rich, powerful network of cooperatives, community organizations, worker control of industry, extending over the whole country and the whole world, in fact, yeah, then you could talk about eliminating the state. But to talk about eliminating the state in the world as it exists is simply to keep yourself in some remote academic seminar or small group, saying, gee, this would be nice. It's not a strategy, so it can't be a better strategy. We are faced with realities. What is described here, and in fact it's true, I've written plenty about it too, is that we have a number of systems of power closely interlinked. One of them is corporate power, business power. That's by far the most dangerous of all. That means effectively unaccountable private tyrannies. A second, pretty closely linked to them, is state power. And the comment is correct. As the commentator says, I've written about it too a lot, that state power tends to be overwhelmingly influenced by concentrated private power. Okay, those are real problems. Now we face strategies. So for example, let's say take say healthcare, okay, right on the front pages. What's the strategy for dealing with the fact that tens of millions of people can't get the best health care they can get is to be dragged to an emergency room when it's too late to do anything? I mean, that's a real problem. And that's a huge part of the population. Second problem is that in a privatized, unregulated healthcare system, like the United States, and I shouldn't say like because it's the only one, in a privatized, unregulated healthcare system, where the drug companies are so powerful that the government isn't even allowed to negotiate drug prices. In that kind of system, first of all, healthcare is strictly rationed by wealth, very strictly. And secondly, it is designed in such a way that the federal budget is going to be destroyed. You just take a look at the tendency lines. There won't be anything left for schools, for Social Security, for worker safety, anything. What will be left is for the military. That's untouchable. Keeps going up. Another problem we ought to look at. Obama has the biggest military budget since the Second World War. So, but as long as that is over there untouchable, another elephant in the closet, the radically inefficient, privatized, unregulated healthcare system is extremely harmful for people, except for the wealthy. They do fine, and is also going to destroy everything else. So what do we do about it? Well, it's not a strategy to say, okay, let's abolish the state. That doesn't do anything about it. In fact, it's just a gift to the corporate state power sector because it offers nothing. A short-term answer is to do what the large majority of the population has wanted for decades, and namely to develop a sensible national health care system of the kind every other industrial country has, one variety or another. Well, it happens to be a larger majority opinion, so you don't have to break down many walls to organize people about it. It has been for decades. It's strongly opposed by the corporate state nexus, but that's not unbreakable. You know, bigger victories have been won. We could go into details, you know, like what do you do about the fact that the Democrats have sold out, for obvious reasons, on even minor palliatives like a public option and so on. What do you do about the fact, let's say a concrete fact, there was just an election in Massachusetts which surprised everyone, totally, almost completely misrepresented, but I won't go into that. But one of the striking things about the election was that the union members, Obama's natural constituency, most of them didn't bother voting because there was tremendous apathy in the poorer and working class areas. The election was won by the wealthy suburbs. But of those who voted, most of them voted for Scott Brown, a Republican, against the Democrats, shooting themselves in the foot, incidentally. That's one of the first things that happened, is to knock off one possibly pro-union member from the National Labor Relations Board, but they had reasons. And the reasons are very clear. Just read the labor press. The reasons are that Obama made it very explicit that he was willing to compromise or give up on everything except one thing: taxing union members for their health care plans. So sure, people are enraged about that. I mean, why shouldn't they be? It's not an anarchist position, it's just a simple, elementary human position. Well, okay, if you're interested in the long-term project of the questioner, namely dissolving state and corporate power, you should be paying attention to that. And you should be organizing workers on that. You shouldn't leave it to Rush Limbaugh to organize people with real legitimate grievances. That's the way to fascism. You should be out there organizing them themselves on their concerns. You know, their concerns can be related to, and easily related to, much longer term anarchist style projects, but that's where anarchists should be working.